21 years of experience. You doesn't look like even 21.
Thanks. Yeah.
21 years of experience. Where did it all begin? Like, how did what was the turning point?
I was born in Bangladesh. I came here when I was younger. My father owned a local business, which is an Indian restaurant. My mother was a housewife, but she's also a volunteer and also, tried her best in the community to be involved. I wouldn't say a lot has changed. I think the racism and discrimination we have now is more religious racism and discrimination. It's about fear-mongering. It's about the media. It's about the government. I've been a part of it. I've been helping part of it, and that's where I learned a lot of my skills in charity, how to conduct a meeting, how to do an event, how to bring people together, how to fundraise, all those basic things. I learned from as young as 11 because I got really stuck in. I was allowed to go and engage with this. It was actually a church group, so it was very different.
How did you manage your mental health while campaigning for others?
I think the will of Allah is really important. If something is meant for you, it will come for you.
Definitely.
And if you have the faith, if you have the belief, if you do the hard work, they say ask for help. Talk to people, be open-minded. Don't say no to things. Give things a go. I'm always very much, I'm up for it. Let's do it.
So that's really great because I'm also working for the women empowerment.
Yeah.
My all podcast is about women.
Yeah.
Their problems, their achievements, their struggle.
Yeah.
And this is the platform where they can come and talk about it.
Yeah.
We talk about domestic violence, postnatal depression, homeschooling, menopause, HRT.
Yeah.
So there's so many.
What you're doing is incredible. I commend you, I salute you, and I hope you carry on doing more because we need women like you to do this, have a platform, talk to other women, find out their journeys and stories. And I just hope anything I can do to help and support, you've got my number, you give me a ring. If I have to leave this earth and go to my grave on the day of judgment, one of the first things I'm going to comment on is how my father was treated and the injustices that we faced as a family, as British Bangladeshis and Muslims, and how many more families have faced so much injustice for their families, not being able to see them, not being able to speak to them, being treated like crap, having discrimination, having racism, having all this stress, having medical negligence. He eventually died with pneumonia, his organs failed, and we weren't really allowed to see him properly. So it was really, really difficult for us.
Welcome, Tamanna. Welcome to Kuch Mazedar Si Baatein. How are you?
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much for having me here. I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm okay. Thank you so much. So we'll jump to the questions now.
Yes.
So 21 years of experience. You doesn't look like even 21.
Thanks. Yeah.
So 21 years of experience. Where did it all begin? How did you, what was the turning point?
I'll try and explain as best as I can.
Okay.
Briefly where possible.
Yeah.
So I suppose to give some context about me. So I'm obviously Tamanna. I live in Kent. I live in a very upper middle class area. And I experienced a lot of racism and discrimination from a very early age. I was born in Bangladesh. I came here when I was younger. My father owned a local business, which is an Indian restaurant. My mother was a housewife, but she's also a volunteer and also, tried her best in the community to be involved. I had a very difficult upbringing because of the racism and discrimination that I faced in the area. I was the only Bangladeshi Asian girl in my school, so I very much stood out compared to everybody else. I suffered with a lot of racism, abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, and it really affected my mental health and well-being. As also, when I was younger, I used to be mute. I couldn't speak properly, and I had to have a lot of extra support in school with the special education needs and going to sort of classes and extra activities. So my parents were really worried about me in terms of my development as an infant. I had to have speech therapy regularly. As well as that, I suppose I also struggled in terms of the location we lived in. We lived in a very rural, upper middle class area. The transport was very bad. In terms of community and togetherness, we didn't have that, sadly. We didn't have the Asians, we didn't have the halal food groceries, we didn't have the uncles and aunties, the relatives, the friends, the community activities, the mosques, the cultural food. We didn't have any of that. So essentially it was a white British area. And it was they were very proud of their heritage and their flag and where they come from. And there's also, I suppose, a lot of people who live there are rich and very well off. You know, the standard place they would be shopping at is places like M&S and Waitrose. That's the sort of area I lived in. You know, I was surrounded by houses that were £1 million houses, private roads, private schools, privately educated. So that's the sort of area I grew up in. It was very, very difficult. I was the only person of colour in my school. I used to be pushed, shoved, kicked, spat at, all sorts of things. And I was a little child. I was a very quiet, shy girl. And it really affected my, I suppose, personal development and upbringing. I couldn't look at people in the eye. That's how shy I was. I couldn't speak properly. English wasn't my first language. English later became my first language. Bengali was my first language, my mother tongue, what I was speaking at home. I'd go to teachers and I'd tell them about this bullying, this discrimination, the harassment. They didn't care. You know, they didn't help me. And it was just like, oh, don't worry, it's a scratch. Oh, don't worry, they were teasing, they were joking, it was friendly, this. And it was always dismissed. And sadly, I wouldn't say a lot has changed. I think the racism and discrimination we have now is more religious racism and discrimination. It's about fear-mongering, it's about the media, it's about the government. So, yeah, I struggled with a lot of racism. I went through preschool, went through primary school, I went to secondary school. It continued on throughout my years.
But have you ever told your parents?
Yeah, they were aware. I mean, sometimes I would keep it to myself. Sometimes I'd tell them. They were really at a loss. You know, sometimes they'd come into the school, talk to the teachers, and it wouldn't really go very far.
But have they ever think like we change area or we change like, you know, because might be about the community or might be we don't have more Asians, like, you know, Asians surrounded?
No, they refused. My father really refused because my father, he also lived in London. He also lived in Kent. He also lived in Surrey. He lived in various parts of the southeast, and he'd experienced life in those areas. And he found the sort of peaceful place was actually where we live in Kent. You know, there was no sort of judgmental relatives looking, and you have to look over your shoulder. Oh, what's she doing? What's he? You know how it is in the community. There's a lot of judgmental people who tend to maybe gossip or, you know, create issues within people's families and, you know, that sort of thing. So I suppose we were very safe. We were in a safe, quiet, peaceful, rural area. We had no one to disturb us in that sense. But it was very difficult growing up, trying to access activities, trying to access basic things that as a British Muslim you'd want to access. Your own culture, your own community, your own sense of belonging. It was very difficult. I felt like growing up I didn't belong in anywhere. I wasn't part of anyone. I always felt like, you know, I couldn't be myself. So I would often hide away. I think it was my self, you know, mechanism, self, that the way to protect myself was to be shy and quiet and don't say anything, don't look at people in the eye. And I suppose I developed severe anxiety, severe depression, OCD, BPD, emotional BPD, which is borderline personality disorder, and so on and so forth. So it really affected my childhood, the racism and the bullying that I suffered with. But I sort of grew up and I started to become involved in community activities, which is where I got involved from the young age of 11 years old. I became involved with my father's charity. It was called the Bangladeshi Welfare Association, which was in Royal Tunbridge Wells. And actually was sort of a breath of fresh air. I was very confused, but my dad was always trying to encourage me to get involved because it was bringing about the younger generation and the older generation, bringing them together to have that community cohesion and that relationship. And I thought, at the time, I just thought, young kid, get involved. My dad told me to get involved. But at the same time, I was actually like, actually, we're making a difference.
Yeah.
You know, we're getting the elderly generation out of their houses to do activities, to meet people. We're having sports tournaments. We're having fundraisers. We're doing seaside trips. We're having English classes, Bengali classes. We're getting the young people to come every Saturday for classes. We're getting the mums to come out. We're interacting and joining people's families. So what my dad started and his friends and community, it actually made such a difference to people. Like, I remember some of my great memories from being involved in charity. And I suppose even now I'm still very proud of what him and his friends and colleagues have achieved. And the fact that I've been a part of it, I've been helping part of it. And that's where I learned a lot of my skills in charity, you know, how to conduct a meeting, how to do an event, how to bring people together, how to fundraise, all those basic things. I learned from as young as 11 because I got really stuck in. I was allowed to go and engage with this. It was actually a church group. So it was very different. You know, it wasn't a Muslim group or an Asian group. It was a very white British church group. And they were all about community and religion and Christianity. So it's very interesting learning about their religion, their community, their culture, I suppose, and being involved in some of their activities, whether it is going away for the weekend in Wales or whether it's going away in different parts of the country or doing, activities and things. So I suppose I learned a lot in that sense. At that point, I was probably about 13. And then one by one, I started to find more activities. I found the youth council, and I also found the youth group. West Kent Housing Association did a youth forum youth group, and I joined them. I also joined the Seven Oaks Youth Council. And again, I got myself really stuck in. My dad was a bit cautious at first, but then I suppose he could see that we were trying to make a difference in the community, trying to bring the young people off the council estates into activities and positive social inclusion with the youth forum. And then with the Seven Oaks Youth Council, I suppose we were trying to improve our local area. What can we do about bus services? What can we do about recycling? What can we do about community issues? And I think I started to really learn and get involved. After school, I'd come running home after school, go straight to a meeting or go straight to the council chamber and have a meeting and talk to the councillors about what are young people suffering with? What are they struggling with? So that's how I sort of got involved in grassroots level community issues. One of the big issues was obviously young people didn't have enough to do. So we organised music nights, karaoke nights, fundraising, events, stalls, you name it. And one of my first big projects that I was involved in, for me, it was probably the proudest thing I suppose I've ever done in my life. And I tell people this because I'm still really shocked as to how we did it. We did the Seven Oaks Youth Cafe project. It's called House in the Basement. And what we did is the whole community wanted somewhere for young people to go. They wanted a centre. And at the time, the youth service were making cuts. And we wanted somebody to support us. But we did like a 4 or 5 year campaign. We needed to raise over £150,000.
Wow.
And we managed it. We really managed it. And I thought, as a young person, Bangladeshi Muslim, female, British, I'm involved in this project in an upper middle class, conservative, white area. I sometimes pinch myself thinking, how the hell did I do that? My dad was very proud. And, and it was a hard campaign. We were fundraising, we were giving ink cartridges, we were doing stalls, we were going to fairs, we was going to meetings, going to events, going to all sorts of stuff. And we started to make traction with the local media, building relationships with different groups, getting people on side, doing petitions, you name it. We did everything in our power for the next 4 to 5 years. And eventually we started to get money. Slowly by slowly, we started to get the money and it started building. And the community actually realised, you know what? They're going to do it. They've got something going. And they slowly started to believe in us. And it takes that one person or a couple of people or a couple of businesses just to start believing in you. And we started taking our campaign everywhere. And it was really, really interesting. It was really impressive, even going further than the council and even other places are like, actually, how do you doing this? Can we do it too? Tell us how to do it. So we even started educating other places as to how you can do your own youth cafe campaign. The purpose of the youth cafe is literally for education, for awareness, to help tackle social inclusion, community cohesion, help young people come off the street to do something positive. It was a great opportunity for them to go home and do homework, take your homework to this youth cafe. We've got people to help you, youth workers. You've got people trained in, first aid, mental health, youth work, someone to talk to if you're feeling low. You've got computers, you've got food, you've got games, you've got everything that you need as a young person that's between 13 to 19. Everything that you want to access after school at a weekend. And we even had opportunities for young people to do training. So there were young people that were on the street. They joined the youth council. I mentored them. We got them to join the youth council. And I said, come on, guys, let's join the youth council. So why are we joining the youth council? It's not for us. It's all for these councillors. I thought, no, you come and join. So I managed to get a group of them to come and join. They sat on the youth council. And then a couple of them, they started getting jobs.
That's really good. And one thing I would like to ask, how it helped your mental health?
I suppose it's interesting you say that. It actually helped me because I had something to focus on. I had something I was passionate about. I thought, this is going to give me something to concentrate on. It's going to get my dad off my back for a while. My dad's going to be like, you know what, she's doing something for the community. She's helping the community. She's bringing different generations together. She's getting young people off the street. There are young people that want to be with her, to go with her to events and meetings and joy. So everything wasn't just me. But I eventually, instead of, I started to grow myself. I was given positions like, I ended up being the chair of the youth council. I was the first ever British Bangladeshi Muslim female to sit in the chair of the Sevenoaks Youth Council. Nobody has, in that category, has done that before. And not only did I manage to do that, I then moved on and moved up to the regional, like the Kent Youth County Council. I ended up being chair of the Kent Youth County Council. Impossible things that people from my background have never done before, I was able to do. And I just kept going up and up and up and up. And I think I'm just very lucky that there were some supportive youth workers that always pushed me and said, Tamanna, go and apply for this, go and apply for this, go and do this. I'm inviting you to this. Come to this event, come to this meeting. You've got all the confidence. Like I was very lucky that even though I was having this bullying, I had these youth workers that pushed me. And I think it's really valuable that we have good role models when you're younger. Even if it's not a role model, even if it's just someone to just push you and encourage you and give you that confidence and support. So I really appreciate those youth workers because people started to recognise what I was doing. I was getting awards, I was being recognised, I was moving up and up and up into different roles. And I was bringing other young people along with me, the ones that I'd been mentoring. I'd take them to different events to network and meet people and find new opportunities. So yeah, I suppose I kept moving forward. We opened it in, I think I was 18 or 19 when we opened it. So something that I started in my youth, probably like 13, 14, many years later, 18, 19, I was there at the ribbon cutting ceremony with the mayor to open it. And it was everywhere. And I thought, I can't believe we've achieved this. For the whole 5 years or so, people were telling us, no, you're not good enough. No, you can't do it. No one's going to believe in you. No, you're never going to get the money. And I said, do you know what? We're opening it. It's there. Go and visit it. So whenever I have friends and people coming to my area, one of the first places I bring them is the Sevenoaks Youth Cafe, which is a house in the basement. It's one of my, when somebody says to me, you can't do it, be like, here's an example. And I suppose my journey just kept going on and on and on. I suppose I discovered a lot about myself. I also was awarded scholarships to join Performing Arts School. So I went to Performing Arts School for 4 years. I did dance, drama, singing. I performed in shows, whether it's dance shows, performances, so on and so forth. I finished doing that when I was 19. And then
hang on, one question here. It's just like you're talking and it's come in my mind. Like how you just told me about your dad, like he's very strict and
yeah.
And how did you do dancing and, like that?
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. I suppose when I was 14, 15, I started to come in my shell. I was year 9. I started to come into my shell and I did my first ever show. And I think my dad came and saw it and then he realised that actually I have a lot more to offer. And I think he realised it helped me to manage myself from the bullying and the anxiety, the depression and the mental health and the struggles that I'd been having. So I think he sort of warmed towards it. But there were times that he was like, you know what, you're going to too many meetings, you're going to too many events, you need to cut down, you need to concentrate on your schoolwork. And he was very strict that he'd pick me up, drop me off, he'd be waiting or he'd be late or someone would drop me off and so on and so forth. So or he'd know the organizer, or he'd talk to the check.
Doing his all duties, like
yeah, in terms of checking, I suppose. Yeah, he was also busy with his restaurant as well. So, and then my mum would check where I was, my siblings would check where I was. It was all very but I suppose it was very safe because I was in a very white British area. There was no we didn't have the knife crime that you might have in London. If you walk home late at night, you're going to be fine, sort of thing. We don't have the same struggles that you have in London than you do in Kent. It's two different worlds. So because it's in rural area, it's like a village type place. Everybody's sort of generally amicable, unless you have racist people. But yeah, as I was saying, so I suppose I started doing things nationally, representing young people over the country, and then I started doing things European level and so on and so forth. I then suppose I went to university. I was at university for 5 years. I went to Canterbury Christchurch University. I studied media and communications, politics and governance. And university was, again, really, really hard for me. It was really, really challenging. I made a promise to myself. I said, I'm not leaving university until I get a 2-1. And I prayed and I prayed and I prayed and I left and I got a 2-1. And in 2017, I finished my degree. I graduated in 2018 in January, and it was really, really, really tough. I had people in my sixth form in my school who were telling me, oh, Mr. Miah, I don't think your daughter can do a degree. I think she should do hairdressing. I think she should do health and social care instead. And it was a fight. It was a real fight to convince people that, you know what, this girl is good enough. She can do a degree if she wants to do a degree. She can pass her A-levels if she wants to pass her A-levels. Like, you don't understand the level of racism. Like, there was one level of racism at school and primary school and secondary school, but the next level of racism of 18-year-olds plus, like, the level they go through is just disgusting because of the level of racism, the abuse, the harassment. There was one point I wanted to take my university and fight them legally because they were just not doing enough. There were so many times I had to call the police, and so many times my dad would finish a long shift at work, 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. He'd bring me all this food because I wasn't eating properly, I wasn't sleeping properly, and it was traumatic. It was really, really traumatizing for me. Yeah, I really struggled with that, and my dad sort of had to accept this decision that I had to stay at university for longer, and it was really difficult because at university you only get 4 years of student funding. So the last year or two I had to support myself, and I had to rely on things like food parcels and food banks from local charities because I didn't have the money to survive. If I have to leave this earth and go to my grave on the day of judgment, one of the first things I'm going to comment on is how my father was treated and the injustices that we faced as a family, as British Bangladeshis and Muslims, and how many more families have faced so much injustice for their families, not being able to see them, not being able to speak to them, being treated like crap, having discrimination, having racism, having all this stress, having medical negligence. He eventually died with pneumonia, his organs failed, and we weren't really allowed to see him properly. So it was really, really difficult for us.
What do you think, like, so South Asian representation in fully catching up, or they still, like, still scratching the surface?
South Asian representation has a long way to go. I feel like we have moved on quite a bit.
Yeah.
However, there is so much more to go. There is racism and discrimination everywhere. Our newspapers, our radio, our TV. When I walk into a shop, whether it's Tesco, Sainsbury's, whatever, I look at the magazines and I think there is no one that looks like us.
Yeah.
On those magazines, in those newspapers, on the TV channels. They're not representative enough. I can't look at them and be like, you're my role model, because you're not my role model. I don't feel the same as you. I don't think the same as you. So I think there's a long way to go. And even me, I now obviously work in the media industry, British Asian media industry, Bangladeshi community, Indian community, Pakistani community, even the Turkish community. And I'm trying to venture into more communities. So it's really, really hard because you're British, you're Bangladeshi, you're female, you've got a lot of responsibility, you have your own health issues, you have your own disabilities, you have to look after your parents or siblings, your house. You have to do 101 things.
Yeah.
And be this independent female with a smile on their face all the time. You always have to look good, you have to sound good, you have to sound happy, and everything's always for the cameras or for the events, for the meetings. And people don't get it, like internally, how difficult it can be to always go out there and represent and do your best when you've got people that are women tearing women down. There's Nozor everywhere, there's that lie everywhere.
Everybody,
And I'm literally like, I want women to support women. I want young people to support young people. I want men to support men. And that's why I personally take it upon myself to mentor students and young people and women. If I can help someone, I'll help them. If I can't help someone, I'll say, sorry, I can't help you. Or actually, I'll find you someone else that can help you. But more people need to be like that.
Yeah. So you mentor students and young people. So what advice do you give them most of the time?
I give them a lot of advice. I say to them, if you're Muslim or whatever religion you are, pray. Follow your religion. Listen to your parents. Listen to your elders. Respect your elders. Build a relationship with your elders, your parents, your respected community. Because at the end of the day, it's your parents who are going to be there.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, when everybody else is gone, it's your parents, it's your siblings, it's your family. I would also say to them, charity is part of our religion. It's part of our community. It's a part of our Asian culture. Being hospitable, looking after each other. Be charitable, be generous, go and help people. Go out of your way. Do whatever you can, even if it's something small. They say a smile is sunnat in our religion.
Yeah.
Even if it's £1, go and give that to a homeless person or a charity, whatever it is. I always say to people, don't give up. Keep knocking on doors until they open for you. And if they don't open eventually, leave it. Maybe there's another door destined for you.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, you're absolutely right. You're at awards, high-profile events, but also deep grassroots work. So what is something people don't see behind the scenes?
They don't see the hard work. They don't see the determination. They don't see the blood, sweat and tears. They don't see the amount of travelling that coming from Kent, late nights, early mornings, running from one place to another. All the responsibilities I have. I have to look after my mum. I have to look after my siblings. I have to look after my house. I have to look after my relatives, so on and so forth. I don't even know where I get time to look after myself or enjoy myself. They don't realise the amount of planning and preparation and brain capacity and knowledge and experience and so on and so forth it takes to execute something from start to finish.
Yeah, we have to, to prove ourselves.
Yes.
Because we are among others.
Yeah.
So we have to prove ourselves.
And that's something I'm sick of. I have people, uncles, community, sisters, aunties, Tamanna, you need to prove it. Oh, you need to show us. Oh, give me an example. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of having to prove myself time and time again. I am good enough. I am competent. I'm educated. I can be professional. I can do everything that I need to do. But I'm having to prove myself. And the fact that there's a hierarchy in proving yourself and the hierarchy between our South Asians internally, our own South Asians you have to prove yourself to. And even the white British community and other communities like Indian, Pakistani, Bangladeshi. And I've had people say to me that Bangladeshis are at the bottom of the pile. I'm like, that's not fair. We work just as hard as Pakistani people and Indian people, if not more. Like, the fact that we have to prove ourselves to our own people, it's just not fair. And I'm just sick of it. And I'm sick of having to prove myself and my worth and what I can do.
How do you manage your mental health while campaigning for others?
Well, it's very difficult.
It is difficult.
It's so difficult. It takes a certain amount of mental strength and resilience. I think the will of Allah is really important. If something is meant for you, it will come for you.
Definitely.
And if you have the faith, if you have the belief, if you do the hard work, they say, ask for help, talk to people, be open-minded. Don't say no to things. Give things a go. I'm always very much, I'm up for it. Let's do it. Spontaneous, last minute. Let's do it. My dad was always very much like, if you listen, you might learn something. And I used to laugh at him. I always used to take the mick out of him. And he said, one day when I'm not here anymore, you're going to remember this. And I'm telling you now in this podcast, I remember this.
You remember this. What is the next? What is your next project which you are really excited for?
Well, I've done so many projects. What I do generally now, taking all my life's experiences, I've turned the negative into positive. And I've done charity work, I've done campaigning, I've done mental health work, I've done teacher training, I've done facilitation, I've done public speaking. I've done everything you can think of. I've even worked in hospitality. I worked in charity shop. I worked in restaurants. I've done events. I've done weddings. I've done almost everything you can think of. I suppose the only thing I haven't done is I haven't been a vet. I haven't been an astronaut. I haven't been a scientist. I haven't done any of that sort of stuff, STEM stuff. But in terms of where I am now, I do public speaking, I do presenting, I do hosting, I do red carpet interviews at big corporate events and community events. I take on videographers, I take on photographers. We do social media, PR, marketing. And then on the side, other thing I do, so I've got my creative side. I also do acting sometimes.
Oh, wow.
And then I also do research. I do academic research, where I work with different universities around the country in the UK. And we do projects on health research. So I work with, whether it's Oxford, Cambridge, Birmingham, Sheffield, London, and we work on research to help change people's lives. So that research we'll work with academic researchers, we'll come up with a plan, preparation, we'll have patient and public involvement members, we'll sit and discuss the research, we'll look at interviewing people, we'll look at collating it into a project, like a document, and we'll use that to have recommendations and core information. We'll present it, we'll publish it. One of my recent projects, I worked with the London School of Tropical Hygiene. It was a project on COVID and ethnic minorities and how we struggled in COVID and how many people, struggled and passed away and the difficulties and barriers. And that project has been published in the Lancet journal, which is a worldwide viewed journal. And it's been viewed by millions of people. And the fact that somebody like me, a little girl from Kent, British Bangladeshi Muslim. Like, my work with these organizations is now published in a medical journal for the whole world to see. And it's on kidney disease, which is even more important because my dad had kidney disease.
Yeah.
And I just think if my dad was here right now, like, he'd be thinking, wow, like, we're trying to change this world with health research so that other people don't have to go through the same struggles, because people are dying every single day of cholesterol, diabetes, kidney disease, heart attacks. And the South Asian community is about diet, lifestyle, physical health, mental health. So that's why I'm really passionate about physical health of our South Asians. I'm passionate about mental health for our South Asians. I'm passionate about our young people, our young men, our women, equality, diversity, inclusion, and so much more. So I want to make a difference. I want to make a change. And that's why I've been trying to do events. And I've done a couple of events. My first event that I've done pretty much by myself with the Bangladesh Student Association, with the first ever British Bangladeshi Community Summit. It was fully packed. Over 250 people came. We had 6 panels on different topics. And it was a great opportunity for students and young people to network, to look for mentorship, for jobs, employment. And all these high-profile people were on panels talking about their career journeys and how they got to where they were. It was great success. You know, nobody has ever done the British Bangladeshi Student Summit. And I can proudly say that we managed to do that. And people still ask me, are you going to do another one? And I'm thinking about it.
So that's really great, because like, I'm also working for the women empowerment.
Yeah.
You know, like my all podcast is about women.
Yeah.
Their problems, their achievements, their struggle.
Yeah.
And this is the platform where they can come and talk about it.
Yeah.
We talk about domestic violence, postnatal depression, homeschooling, menopause, HRT.
Yeah.
So there's so many.
What you're doing is incredible. Like, I commend you, I salute you, and I hope you carry on doing more, because we need women like you to do this. Have a platform, talk to other women, find out their journeys and stories. And I just hope anything I can do to help and support, you got my number, you give me a ring, because I think it's really important what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
And I hope you get rewarded. I genuinely hope you get rewarded in Jannah, really, honestly.
Inshallah. I have now a very, we talk, very serious topic. But I have a little funny rapid fire for you.
Okay.
Even you will never host again a family wedding or 5 hours community award with no food.
Do you know what? I can never host anything without food, because people are going to have a go at me. Every time I go into an event, there has to be food.
There has to be food. So more stressful, either a red carpet interview or explaining your job to your aunties.
That's a good one, That's a really good one. I think they're both very stressful, because in a red carpet scenario, I have a short deadline and I have to interview hundreds and hundreds of people in a short space of time. And it's hard. It's not easy.
It's hard. Okay. So a British Kebab Award or eat at Brick Lane. What is the real drama?
Drama?
Yeah.
I like the British Kebab Award. But Brick Lane is also very busy and it's interesting too.
Yeah.
I actually like both.
So more powerful, is PR skills or your mum slipper?
That's a really funny one. Well, I think my PR skills are good. But I also think my mum's shoe is also quite scary. Because you get a horrible bruise out of it.
Okay, one title. To the rishtedar, the relative.
Oh no.
Was always confused about your work title.
Yeah, they are always confused, actually. They're always asking me, what do I actually do? Not even relatives, even people I know. They don't have a clue. People that I don't know don't even know.
What actually you do?
What do you actually do, Tamanna?
Which one is the more harder? Fundraising or getting Desi uncle to reply to their emails, in one time?
Man. They're both really hard. The fundraising is also hard because people are stingy. They don't want to give up money anymore. And it's really annoying. Even if it's a good cause, they're still not interested.
Yeah.
They'd rather buy their £5 coffee.
Yes. So the British weather or the Bangladeshi aunties, which one switch up faster?
They're bad as each other. Honestly, you're giving me points that are really hard. British weather, 1 minute it's raining, 1 minute it's sunny.
Yeah.
And the aunties, 1 minute they're all right. They're like, hello, Bitty, you okay? What are you doing? Like, what? I don't even know anymore.
Why you not getting married?
Yeah, why are you not getting married? You're old now. No one's going to marry you. You're not good enough anymore.
So the worst thing someone called your job, TikTok work or shadi organizer?
Well, thankfully, no one said I'm a shadi organizer. But I mean, some people just say, "Oh yeah, you just go around with that microphone, don't ya? You just go around interviewing random people, don't ya?" I was like, "No, actually, there's a bit more to it than that." "Oh yeah, you just sit on TikTok and influence." I was like, "No, there is actually a lot of hard work running red carpets. Thank you very much." And there's a lot of hard work organising video cameramen, editors, social media, microphones, editing this, and this. It's not easy.
It's not.
It's actually quite a tough job.
Not easy. Your autobiography title, if you have to give one.
Wow.
So too organized to function or red carpet to roti rolls?
I would probably, they're both really good titles, you know, because a red carpet I'd say red carpet to eating curry in my bed. Or
you mix it.
Or I'd also say, what was the other one?
Other one is like, one was the too organized.
Oh yeah, too organized to function. People probably get annoyed with me because I've got OCD. Like I've got bare OCD, you know, like I'm literally like every single minute, every second is counted for, you know? And if people take long with their speeches.
Yeah.
Get off the stage. You're taking too long.
You're taking too long. So, do you want to give any message before go?
Well,
anything?
There's so many messages I'd give to people. Yeah. I would say to people, I don't even know what I'd say to people because I've said a lot, I think. I myself, I've gone through a lot of difficult times in my life where I've wanted to give up. I wanted to throw the towel in. And I've always pushed myself and I've pushed other people. And I'd say to people, don't ever give up on yourself. Don't give up on other people. Don't give up on your family. Don't give up on your mum and dad or your siblings. Don't give up on your religion and your faith. Don't ever forget where you came from. You're British, be proud of being British. You're Bangladeshi, you're Muslim, you're female, you're disabled, you're ill, you're this, you're that. Be proud of where you come from. My dad and my mum always used to say to me, be proud of your heritage. You're Bangladeshi, you're Muslim. Always be proud of it. Tell everybody wherever you go. And I always tell my people and other people, I say, you know what? I'm Bangladeshi and I'm Muslim, but I'm always going to be Muslim first, then I'm Bangladeshi, and then I'm British. Because you need to be proud of where you come from and you need to educate people and inspire people and say, this is me, take it or leave it.
Yeah.
Don't let people tell you you're not good enough. Keep going all the time. Turn your nose into yeses. Not every door is meant for you, and that's okay. You just have to keep trying. And I would probably also say, whatever life throws at you, just keep going and don't give up.
Thank you so much, Tamanna.
Thank you so much
for coming. And this was like another episode of Kuch Mazedar Si Baatein. And we are like literally, I was inspiring in the whole episode. Tamanna was like literally, on and on. So like literally inspiring, like, how she got all this power, like you are, mashallah, very powerful in your words, in your actions, and that we need in our young people. And that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching us. And please don't forget to share, like, and comment, and subscribe us. So thanks so much for coming today.
Thank you very much for having me. Appreciate it.
So inshallah, I'll come with the next episode next week with the new episode with the new guest. So till now, Allah Hafiz.